Well, buckle up.
Back in the old time machine.
13th century. Texture, taste.
Very fishy.
Preservatives.
Cornish pasties.
Oh my god, I'd never even thought of that. The themes of empire, mission, inheritance, and destiny.
Hello and welcome back to What the Food, the podcast that uncovers the origin stories of dishes, food items and drinks from all around the world. We dive headfirst into history to try and figure out why we eat the food we eat. My name is Miles Dickinson, here with Andy Cantor and Dom Gray, and today we're uncovering the origin of Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts.
It's our 40th episode.
You
40.
what?
Episode
Big
40.
4-0?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's impressive. Congratulations.
For this episode, I've got us 40 Pop-Tarts each that we're going to eat live. To celebrate every episode.
That's a lot.
I'd love to know the actual weight of that. How much would you be eating?
What grammage we're talking?
But yeah, 40 episodes, that's gone quick, hasn't it? Crikey.
It's a moment to reflect back on the past, to think about what's the achievements that we've made.
How many countries we can't go to now?
Yes.
Yeah.
How many times Sean Connery has appeared?
Yeah, almost every episode,
About
really.
40.
About 40
I've been here 40 times.
Here's to 40 more.
Yeah.
Here's the 40 more. What a food item to smash as our 40th as well.
Yeah, Pop-Tarts.
Good one.
Do you guys eat Pop-Tarts as kind of bill-paying adults? Do you?
No,
No?
I think the last time I ate one was probably when I was about 12, maybe.
Yeah,
So-
same.
Yeah.
I love the way you phrased that as well. Like, there was no way we could have said yes.
Yeah.
It would have been a shameful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had one before this.
I proper cornered you there, didn't I? Really cornered you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm the same as Dom. Like, I think I've maybe had one or two my entire life, and they were probably when I was about 8 or 9.
Yeah, I think, like,
same.
One of my mates had got them as, like from like the American aisle at the supermarket or whatever. Tried one thinking it was going to be great. It was all right.
Yeah.
Not that great.
I remember them being a lot more common when we were younger, though. I don't know. I don't really see them that much now. Maybe I'm just not looking for them. But
I think you're right. Yeah, no, I think they probably have become a little less common. It's like the fruit winder, isn't it? It's like they kind of these weird Kellogg's products seem to have like phases, don't they?
yeah. But I mean, saying that, I did find some interesting stats from 2024 around like consumption analysis and like statistic from a outlet called TasteWise.io. So incredible. So in 2024, social conversations about Pop-Tarts have increased by 48% over the past year.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Wow.
Customers in the US consume over 2 billion Pop-Tarts annually.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Apparently, the dominating diet of people eating Pop-Tarts is vegan.
It's like, that's what they default to because they've got nothing else to have.
Nothing else.
We've literally just rinsed him.
Oh, what's for tea tonight, hun? Oh, fuck it. Pop-Tarts, come on.
Pop-Tarts.
Either tofu or Pop-Tarts for Treasure out there. Pop-Tarts is.
That is it. That is all the choices that they get.
Tofu or Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts.
That's pretty telling, though, that they're dairy-free products. I think a lot of the flavours, you'd kind of think that there was dairy in them.
Cheddar Pop-Tart.
Cheddar tart.
It's like cheese on toast.
Oh, God.
Foul.
And sales of Pop-Tarts continue to increase year on year, topping 985 million in 2023.
Who was eating these?
Americans.
That's it. Oh, right.
That's it.
Fair enough.
There's your answer. Americans.
Wow.
Is it kids? Are these little kids, like before school, having a Pop-Tart? Or
Perhaps.
I don't know.
Perhaps. Yeah.
I'd be interested to know who's making up the biggest section of that demographic pie.
Do you mean that tart?
Okay. So let's get into it, shall we? Just fucking get this over with. It's going to be one of them episodes, I think.
Don't you mean tart?
Charts. And then just looking at us, waiting for a reaction. Like a little puppy that's done a little front flip.
Does that happen a lot?
How many puppies do you know that do front
If a puppy did a front flip in front of me, I'd be fucking gobsmacked.
Yeah, it'd be gobsmacked. I don't know why I came. Why that's running around in my head. So these little rectangles of sugary goodness have powered many a breakfast and midnight snack since they were born in the 1960s. Today, we're going to be unwrapping their history from their humble beginnings to their current cult status. Now picture this. This is a stereotypical kind of use for a Pop-Tart. Monday morning, hectic as fuck, trying to get the kids to school. You're running late. You got one shoe on, trying to find the other one. Puppy's robbed it just after he's fucking done his backflip. Nowhere to find, right?
Can you get this fucking dog under control? It's front flipping all around fucking house.
Constantly doing front flips.
Just eating your dinner. What the fuck is this dog want?
What have you trained this to do?
Where did you fucking find this?
10 flips to get to the end of your drive.
Kids love it, but Dad's had enough.
Yeah, exactly. So you're busy, right? There's other stuff on your mind. You're in a rush, right?
Yep, Karen at work's fighting for a promotion that you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's right, bitch.
You've never even met her, mate.
A bit close to home, that one. Something going on there.
Sorry if you're one of Milo's co-workers.
I'm just trying to get into the character of the guy who's eating a Pop-Tart.
Yeah. No, for sure. So as you're thinking of ways that you're going to fucking get rid of Karen, you reach for that shiny foil packet. You pop it into the toaster. Moments later, your kitchen is filled with the irresistible aroma of warm, sugary pastry. And that, my friends, is the magic of Pop-Tarts. The lifesavers of busy mornings, a symbol of childhood, nostalgia, and a guilty pleasure for many adults. Not us three, though, apparently.
No, apparently we're not many adults.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those products, though, that kind of looks amazing. Like the branding for it looks great. It's really eye-catching. The pictures that you see on any form of the branding make them look amazing. And then you look at an actual picture of one, or you actually just pull one out of the packet and take a look at it, and it looks so bad.
Yeah, it's like they don't even try to hide like how like mass-produced and slapdash it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like a rectangle of like pastry and then just like this like skid mark of slop on top.
Skid
Mark of slop. Yeah,
that's great.
Perfect.
They're not going to use that in their marketing anytime soon, but and you can literally just see it just slopped on, you know. So
limited edition skid mark slop.
I've done them dirty there. Slop dash.
So weird one. I'm sure we'll get into it, but very, very strange product.
No, absolutely. So from their inception in the kind of 1960s to their rise as a pop culture icon, today we're going to explore how this humble pastry has toasted its way into the hearts, mainly of Americans, but also of the world as a whole. So let's get into it. Let's dive into the sensory experience of Pop-Tarts. So a bit difficult, I suppose, but in case you never had one before, taste-wise, the overwhelming flavour is probably just sugar. Like there's loads of flavours. We'll come to the flavours right at the end because there's a fucking metric ton of flavours nowadays. But thin pastry, so you got a bit of a crunch, kind of crispy texture, but like the flavour is just sweet.
Yeah.
Well, it is basically just like icing, isn't it, on top? Like it's
so
like
it wasn't
icing.
always.
Yeah.
So they're the frosted ones. There used to just be ones with just a filling on the inside.
Right.
Yeah. So Pop-Tarts originally didn't have the icing on top. We'll come to that in a moment. The skid mark on top. The skid mark was in the middle.
Okay.
No, but the ones with the skid marks have the skid mark on top and still a filling.
Double decker. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's like a thin biscuit, isn't it? Almost.
It's a thin biscuit.
Yeah, I think it's quite prone to like being a bit shit if you underdo it, and quite easy to burn too, if memory serves. I'm speaking like I'm an expert. Like I said, I've only had a few, but
I think some people raw dog them just straight up out of tinfoil, straight into their mouths.
proper vegan behaviour, but it's them who's doing that.
I mean, yeah, at least warm it up, breathe a bit of life into it.
Yeah.
Come on, at least try.
Like release some of the flavours through heat.
Yeah, exactly.
Milo back to his spammy caramelisation.
Yeah.
Caramelise the skid mark. Bring it to life.
Caramelise the skid mark.
But yeah, the filling is very much the star of the show, whether it's your classic strawberry, kind of decadent chocolate, or one of the wild limited edition flavours that we'll get to later. It's kind of the burst of flavour that is super indulgent, right? It's like I said, super sweet. Sometimes tangy as well. If you get like a strawberry fruity flavour, quite tangy. And then obviously you got like ones with icing on the top, some with sprinkles on the top. Any way they can put sugar on this fucking tart, they've been able to put it on. In it, on top of it, sprinkled on it.
Yeah, you've already added an extra layer.
Yeah.
Let's add sprinkles onto that layer. Love that.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Have they ever done any savoury ones? Marmite, Bovril.
Have they
How does that work?
Bovril Pop-Tart.
Does it, when you buy it, does it just drip out as well? Is it like actual liquid in there?
No. It's the concentrated paste pre-mixed.
Right, okay. Right.
Wow.
Your saliva is the mix.
It's a mix. Oh,
Ooh.
wow. Fucking hell. That's intense.
Like-
yeah.
like eating,
Wow.
like eating gravy granules, basically.
Yeah, that can't be right because obviously the pastry's sweet. So
From there is some wild flavours, which we'll get to in a moment, but they're mainly sweet flavours from what I could see. I couldn't see any savoury flavours. There wasn't like you said, Bovril, Marmite, brown sauce. There's none of that shite. No beef element to these Pop-Tarts.
trust me to straight away be like, do they do a beef option?
Yeah, maybe a beef shin ragu.
Just trying to find a way to get a beef shin ragu into all these dishes.
Every episode.
Oh,
So texture-wise, Pop-Tarts are quite firm. It's pastry, so they're quite firm, slightly crumbly, bit of a snap to them, especially when you snap them off. And then the filling kind of gooey, sometimes jammy, depending on kind of what you're going for. Most normal, sane human beings will toast them, so you get like a nice kind of warm, comforting experience. Kind of reduces the crispiness of it because the heat just kind of melts it all.
softens it a bit. One of my distinctive memories is that it burnt the shit out of me.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Like I was too eager, so I got it out the toaster and I remember it burning me. It's probably why I've never had one since.
Yeah.
Traumatized.
Is that Pop-Tarts or is that user error?
Yeah, it could be a user
Yeah.
error, but I think
Yeah.
when you make things in the toaster, it's not a foolproof method.
Yeah, how wrong can you go?
You can though. It's very hot.
It's very hot.
Smell wise, I think they smell pretty good. I think I remember this fond memories of the smell. I mean, how could it not, right? It's literally a pastry and like, being warmed up.
It's warm pastry and sugar.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to smell good.
They probably smell better than they taste.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd
be there with you.
And the packaging looks, like we said it before, but the packaging looks great. On the front of them, Pop-Tarts look amazing on, in the pictures of them. And then, like you said, you get it out of the packets and you just utter disappointment, really. Not very pleasant to look at. So yeah, I mean, like I said, we'll get into the flavours a bit more later so we can get a bit more of a taste sensation then. But let's set the stage, shall we, for the grand debut. So imagine, if you will, bustling kitchens and breakfast tables of the 1950s and 60s, where the mantra of the day was all about efficiency and convenience. So in kind of the post-war era, there was a significant push towards spending less time in the kitchen. Efficiency was the buzzword and food innovation was a central movement. Super important to be efficient. And they wanted to save time in the kitchen, do less time cooking, more time doing whatever people in the 50s did, like dancing or whatever they did.
So this is post World War II, isn't it? So it's like the war's over, people are back home, everyone's getting back on track with work and their careers and things like that. That's kind of part of what you're describing, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a few more wars kind of brewing just because the US just love it. But yeah, by and large, post World War II, I think maybe the Korean War started 1950. I
was going to say, I think it's Korean-y sort of time.
Yeah, but yeah, big shift towards efficiency in the kitchen. And Jessica Carbone, who is a former member of the food history team at the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History, highlighted this shift as:
The idea of eating breakfast outside of the kitchen was a completely modern innovation. You don't have to be in a kitchen at all to enjoy a Pop-Tart. But what allowed people to be more efficient was science and innovation.
Perfectly encapsulate it. So you got like new kind of ideas coming in. People are upsetting the norm. They don't have to be sat down around a breakfast table or the dinner table to be enjoying their meals anymore. They're thinking about other ways, and science and technology is allowing them to do that by coming up with new and inventive products.
I was going to say the science and innovation part of that quote is really interesting because it's, like you said, it's a time when food is shifting a little bit from home cooked, typical wife at home cooking stuff from scratch into a more like convenience focused era where, things are being mass produced cheaply. And it's interesting that you can kind of see that shift.
Yeah, no, definitely. So there's like a massive effort to repurpose and kind of mass market wartime food processes because obviously, during the war, there was a massive need for food and kind of the production of food was kind of revolutionized during the war. So the preservatives and formulas developed during this wartime were designed to be spoil proof because you didn't want it to spoil while you were fighting. Heat proof as well, just for like transportation and things like that, and condition proof as well. And kind of these innovations led the groundwork for many of the industrialized food products that emerged during the 50s and 60s.
So they're actually using the tech, like they're using the war tech, but in a more like civilian focused way.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. How can we harness the innovations that we acquired during the wartime into modern life?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what war's good for. Technological advancement.
Pop-Tarts. Oh, yeah, that one, yeah.
Well, I mean, good for profit, good for further profit, not good for the health. The onslaught of diabetes that's on its way.
Yeah, it's well arrived.
They're just trying to make the sweetie lovely treats for people, aren't they? I got this big machine that I use to package up rations, and I can't do fuck all with it, man. So I'm going to change it up, market to the kids, a little flat fucking skitty treat, and they're going to love it.
A skitty treat.
Come get your skitties, kiddies.
That's it. You got it. That's the tagline.
Isn't America lucky that I wasn't in those marketing boardrooms?
Oh, wow. Come get your skitties, kiddies.
Perfect.
That's great. Wow.
That's class.
But yeah, the interjection of technology with war becoming civilianised. Very interesting.
Put it back around there nicely, mate.
Yeah, he's wrestled that fucking ox straight back round.
He's had 39 episodes of practice of doing that.
Oh, God.
So by the 1960s, the idea of a quick, on-the-go breakfast had gained considerable traction, largely thanks to Kellogg's and Post, their competitor. More on those in a moment. But hyper-sweetened food products that could be eaten without the need for a plate or utensils were exploding in popularity, especially among children. Kiddies, get your skiddies. And this kind of environment was the perfect birthing zone for Pop-Tarts.
Birthing zone.
Birthing
zone. Did you have to go with that?
Yeah, I know. I don't know where my head's at today.
Breeding ground, starting point.
We've had some way. Front flipping dogs in the birthing zone.
Yeah. In my mind, as I was reading that out, the pits in Lord of the Rings where them fucking orcs are born. I want to say something.
Birthing zone.
Oh, dear.
Well, we understood what you meant straight away. It was just an interesting take.
We're always pushing the boundaries of language on this podcast, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
So in the early 1960s, Kellogg's biggest competitor, Post, invented a process for dehydrating food and enclosing it in foil to keep it fresh. They originally used it for dog food, which, you got to start somewhere. It's like Marmite, I think, was originally for cattle, right?
Cattle.
Yeah.
True.
So you got to start somewhere. So they originally started using it for dog food, but then they were looking to other ways that they could use this method to expand their kind of product range and adapt it to new processes. And that's how they landed on a new toaster-prepared breakfast pastry.
Yeah, everyone's got toasters. So, people aren't having to buy a unique piece of kit to be able to make them.
Mm-hmm. Ready to go. So in 1963, Post Consumer Brands was definitely ahead of Kellogg's in the Pop-Tart race. Okay. So two competing companies. Post Consumer Brands is way ahead. Okay. Like I said, using that kind of similar technology from the pet food division, they were able to create a pastry filled with fruit that didn't need to be kept in the fridge and it didn't ruin because it was in this foil.
Okay. And is it being preserved through like chemicals, like
Correct.
Preservatives, or is it just the high sugar content?
Dehydration,
chemicals,
and preservatives, mix of both.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. The dehydration plays quite a big part in that, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. On February 16th, 1964, Post even unveiled its new product, which they called Country Squares.
Swear down if you'd have gone with Country Skidders. So I would have been like, who is this man? Wow.
So
what was it? Sorry, Country Squares.
Country Squares. Exactly, yeah. Country Squares. And yeah, so they announced it to the press. It got some quite high interest within the food industry. People were looking like they were going to be wanting this product. Sounded good, ticked all the right boxes. But unfortunately, they weren't ready to be released yet. It was more of a bit of a teaser, which is a bit of a wild thing to do, I think.
Proof of concept.
Yeah, because they announced it in 1964. And even by, I think, like 1965, it wasn't even ready yet. They kept tinkering with the recipe, mixing with the process in the laboratory, and it wasn't ready. A few fun facts before we just get back to Pop-Tarts, but few facts about Post and Kellogg's. So both companies were born in Battle Creek, Michigan.
Cool name of the place.
Very cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which helped give the city or region its nickname Cereal City.
Wow, Cereal City.
And the founder of Post Consumer Brands was a bloke called C.W. Post, and he was actually a patient at the sanitarium where John Harvey Kellogg was the chief medical officer and developed many of his own foods that he invented.
Wow.
He invented cornflakes and shit like that.
Their paths proper crossed, didn't it, early on?
Proper crust. Yeah, yeah.
Are they still about now?
I think they are. Yeah, I think they are. I think they make like Raisin Bran. I think they're the guys that make Raisin Bran, and I think maybe they're more American only. But I've definitely heard of Raisin Bran before. And I feel like they've made grape nuts as well. Have you heard of grape nuts?
No.
Nope, never heard of grape nuts.
If you're making this one up, mate.
No.
Grape nuts?
Grape nuts. Yeah, have you never heard of grape nuts?
No, what is that?
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many times you say it.
What does that entail?
Well, it's grape nuts, obviously.
Grapes and nuts, isn't it?
Yeah. I couldn't tell you what's in it. I think it's just wheat, some wheat of some sort.
Here's a bag of wheat called grape nuts.
Grape nuts. Yeah. So the ingredients are whole grain wheat flour, malted barley flour, salt, and dried yeast. It doesn't really sound that great. Sounds very dry.
Fucking hell, that sounds dry.
Sounds so dry.
Yeah, the name sounds better than the food, doesn't it? Grape nuts.
Yeah, I thought there'd be like raisins in it or something.
No raisins, no grapes.
How have they got grapes in there? Why have they called it grape nuts?
And weirdly, no nuts, just flour.
Just dry flour.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's my new cereal. It's called dry flour.
For the hard-working folk of America.
It sounds like a dish that we need to do an episode on. Grape nuts.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Sounds like there's a lot to it.
Yeah. No, pretty wild that they cross paths like that. And the fact that he was a patient in the sanitarium, I thought was absolutely wild. And the fact that he was so impressed with cornflakes that he decided to make his own dry ass cereal called grape nuts.
You can see why he was in the sanitarium if he's calling it that.
Yeah.
He's got no sense of reality, has he?
Exactly.
Also, if you're inspired by like one of arguably the most boring cereals, like, you've got to be a special kind of guy.
To be fair though, at the time it was probably pretty good, right? Cornflakes?
Yeah. No, to be fair, we've been spoiled with all sorts of sugary treats that are apparently breakfast.
Yeah. But anyway, that's an aside. So back to Pop-Tarts. So Kellogg's, ever the opportunist, saw the potential in this idea of the country squares that Post were creating but not yet released, and decided to jump on it. Now, super confusingly, don't know why they did this, but they hired a bloke called William Post, no connection whatsoever to the Post company. They hired him to help them catch up with their hated rivals. So they hired him in kind of late 1963, and he joined the company and helped them to start developing this pastry. He said that he would need 90 days to get the equipment ready in the factory and to get everything ready to go. I managed to find a NPR interview with Post's son, a guy called Dan Post, and he talks about his father enlisting him at 13 and his daughter Rachel at 9 as unofficial taste testers for the early kind of Pop-Tarts and his creation of them.
Wow.
In the interview, he had this to say.
And the first ones, I have to tell you, were not great. So we would kind of pull up our noses and we'd say, well, more filling, or the crust is like too hard. And so within 2 weeks, it was really good product. I mean, we really liked it.
There you go. I think it's pretty crazy to test on your 13-year-old and 9-year-old.
Yeah, especially when it's not like fresh and they're using like these preservatives and stuff.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that they were like super well researched. All the soldiers have eaten them, and well, some of them.
Yeah, none of them died. Yeah.
So yeah, they're taste testing these two young children.
Yeah, so Kellogg's continued to rush to catch up to Post, and eventually, thanks to Mr. William and his hiring of his two kids, overtook its greatest rivals. They were able to make their own version of the Pop-Tart, mass produce it, and start marketing. They beat them. Post absolutely fucked it by announcing it way too early.
Yeah, they kind of went too soon.
Yeah.
But was that when Kellogg's found out about it, when they announced it, or were there like cereal spies that were like spying on each other or not?
I think there might have been some cereal spies, yeah, but I think it was more the reception that it got.
Yeah.
It proved to them that it was a good idea and worth pursuing, and then they just jumped on it.
That's fair. If you've seen there's a market there for it.
Yeah.
They've basically done the market research for you, and you can be like, oh, well, shit, this got great reviews. Let's fucking get somebody with the same name but no connection to develop it. But even Kellogg's had its own blunder. They didn't initially name the Pop-Tart. The Pop-Tart was actually called Fruit Scones.
Fruit scones.
Right, I think that both of these names were a bit shit. Country Squares Shit.
Shit.
What's country about it? Maybe the skid mark on top. No, that's the shit part. And then what fruit scones? Weren't they already a thing? Like, weren't those scones already out there with fruit?
Surely.
Yeah, but I think
Can't be
not as popular in America. Maybe maybe they weren't as synonymous. Perhaps I don't know. They're quite British, aren't they? Scones.
They're just too literal, aren't they, in America? Country square, because it's a square, and they're trying to pass off that it's made like in the countryside, literally.
Is that what they're doing? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Would it not be called Countryside Square?
Oh,
Countryside square, country square.
touche.
I mean, I'm just guessing, but I'm just trying to figure out the motive there. You know, it's obviously being manufactured in kind of a very industrial inner city setting, and they probably want to market it as something that's made by an old lady in a farmhouse up in Massachusetts.
The better example of a literal name is the name that they've landed on now, Pop-Tarts, because it's a tart that pops out of your toaster when it's done.
Yeah, but they love it. They love it.
They love it. This is good.
They love literal names over there. Sidewalk.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna debunk that.
Oh.
It's not actually named after the popping of the Pop-Tart out of the toaster. It's actually inspired by Andy Warhol and his pop art creations that were super popular at the time.
Whoa.
They thought they could tap into that emerging kind of scene and that emerging kind of popularity of pop art and change the name to match it.
Pop-Tart.
Pop-Tarts.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how it gets the name. So yeah, they scrapped the fruit scones idea, like we said, stinky name, and they went with Pop-Tarts. As you can imagine, they were an absolute sensation from the moment they hit the shelves. There is nothing like this on the shelves that you can buy during mid-1960s. So when they were introduced for a test run in Cleveland in September 1964, the city stores sold out of Kellogg's first 45,000 cases per flavour, faster than you could say breakfast revolution.
If you imagine, though, being someone in that time and you go into the supermarket week on week and you see the same stuff on the shelves, not much has really changed in quite a long time. And then suddenly you get this brightly packaged thing. It's promising these amazing flavours in 60 seconds in the microwave. It's just going to blow you away. You're just going to be like, right, I'm going to get those and give it a try.
Man, that's why you burnt your fucking mouth. 60 seconds in the microwave.
Did I say microwave?
Yeah.
Put him in the wrong apparatus.
Yeah.
He's just exposed himself.
I meant toasted.
Hot jam going in your mouth.
Wow. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that. No, don't do that. But yeah, you are right. You're 100% right. Super eye-catching as well, right? Like there's nothing on the shelves that looks like Pop-Tarts. So when they launched nationwide in April 1965, again, they flew off the shelves just as quickly. The Kellogg's savvy marketing team even ran ads apologizing for the inconvenience of the shortage, promising that they'd restock soon, which only stoked the public's desire even more and making them even more popular upon their return.
People want what they can't have.
That's why people are going to fucking Wakey Wines to pay 26 quid for a bottle of Prime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
During this era as well, in the 1960s, you also get the emergence of the colour television, which again played a significant role in making Pop-Tarts look irresistible to younger viewers. Like you can imagine, just like it's such a colourful product, right? And there's nothing else out there like it. And the fact that colour TV is starting to roll around, it's just going to all boost.
Perfect storm come together nicely for them there.
Yep, kids are sat right up to the TV, cross-legged, looking, watching their show, and then commercial break, Pop-Tarts, bright, right in your fucking eyes.
Yeah. 100%. I managed to find another quote from that. Jessica Carbone, just a reminder, she's a food historian, or used to be a food historian at the Smithsonian National Museum of American History. She put it best by saying,
"It really is a packaging story, an ingredient story, a marketing story. The moment it debuts is in this specific sweet spot between the wartime technologies and the birth of the U.S. food marketplace."
Perfect.
Yeah.
And like you said, to spread kind of the word of the tasty creation, they ran a load of TV adverts. They flooded the airwaves in kind of 1964. And also they were part of a lot of TV shows as well. So they kind of integrated Pop-Tarts into these TV shows. So they made appearances in shows such as Beverly Hillbillies, My Favorite Martian, What's My Line, Huckleberry Hound, Yogi Bear, Woody Woodpecker, Quick Draw McGraw, and Mighty Mouse.
All this product placement.
Exactly. But it wasn't just kind of like normal TV shows as well. I mean, there's some kids stuff in there, but it was like they were everywhere from kind of your primetime television shows to also Saturday morning cartoons. Again, another quote from Carbron, as she put it as,
"The Pop-Tart was marketed very clearly to children and teenagers because the idea is that it was extremely fun, sweet, and creative, delightful experience."
Which I don't think you get away with that now. feel like there's laws stopping that nowadays.
Yeah, you're not allowed to have adverts towards kids here anymore. That's why like McDonald's adverts are like advertised towards adults, so you can like order off of Just Eat or whatever rather than like come get your Happy Meal. Probably for the best, you know.
You know, marketing to children is kind of fun. We're kind of missing out on that world of adverts. Do you remember like when we were a kid, like Hot Wheels ads? They were fucking great, man.
You can advertise for toys like when it's on a kid's channel, I think.
Right.
It's just like food and drink and things. I don't think you can.
Yeah.
Come get your Marlboro Reds, kids.
You can't do drugs or alcohol.
Yeah.
No. But Kellogg's didn't stop at TV either. So starting on November 3rd, 1964, you had full-page, full-colour newspaper ads appearing in the newspapers daily and also Sunday supplements. And you also had a series of 8-cent coupons as well, because Americans love a bit of couponing. So they could jump to the Walmart and get their fucking Pop-Tarts for 8 cents or whatever it is. Trader Joe's.
They're trying to hit they're trying to hit the parents there, right? Because there's not many kids that are reading the newspaper.
Exactly.
Right.
Parents, and then the couponing probably for like the more lower income areas. So as Pop-Tarts gained popularity or continued to gain popularity, like we said, they focused really heavily on colourful packaging, fun colours or fun flavours, and whimsical advertising campaigns. This included the introduction of Milton the Toaster in 1971, who was a cheerful character who popped up in commercials and on packaging for the next decade. Never seen Milton.
What's up, fatties?
What's up, fatties? I got the skitties for your kitties.
What's he called, this guy?
Milton the Toaster, which is a shit name anyway. Why have they called it Milton?
Milton.
Oh, God. So when they launched Pop-Tarts, there was originally 4 flavours. Can you guess what they are? The original 4 flavours?
Strawberry.
Correct.
Raspberry?
No, wrong. Idiot.
Apple.
Apple and...
An apple strudel.
Cinnamon.
No, you won't get it. It's apple currant.
No, you wouldn't get it. By the law book.
Apple currant. Yeah. You won't get it. It's apple currant. Chocolate?
No, incorrect. That's not one of them. Blueberry. And brown sugar cinnamon. Those were the 4 original flavours, but they quickly dropped one flavour though, as according to their website.
Since literally no one has ever seen a currant, we dropped that flavour. Wow. Since literally no one has ever. There's like a bit of sass in that.
That's from the official Pop-Tart website on their like About Us history timeline.
Wow.
Since literally no one has ever seen a currant.
Wild thing to say.
Yeah. They've got no filter. They've just gone for it.
No. Now, years later, it did come back as kind of just apple Pop-Tarts. They just got rid of the currant. Fuck that off. No one's heard of currants. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. You don't eat fruit on fruit, do you? Yeah, I think it came back as brown sugar apple or something like that. So yeah, those are the 4 flavours. But in 1967, William Post showed up to work with a game-changing invention. He had created a technology that allowed Pop-Tarts to be covered in frosting that wouldn't melt in the toaster. This was a major breakthrough for skid kind, like we said. And it was that year that Kellogg introduced frosted Pop-Tarts.
Frosted skid tarts.
I mean, it solves their problem with them not looking that great. I know, like we were saying, that even given the skids, they still look shit. But then back then, it would have been an elevation, wouldn't it? Now you've got something more colourful and more delicious looking on top. So, marketing-wise, it ticks a big box.
Way better. And they launched with, again, 4 flavours. They had frosted raspberry with pink frosting, frosted Dutch apple with white frosting, frosted brown sugar with maple frosting, and frosted Concord grape with white frosting.
They make this shit up, man.
I know,
Dutch apples, like, why?
Why not just apples?
Raspberry fucking what? Raspberry
frosting with pink frosting. Frosted raspberry with pink frosting. Sorry.
It's raspberry frosting, not like pink frosting. You can't have raspberry frosting and pink frosting. What's the flavour of pink?
Raspberry, innit?
but the saying is different.
Usually raspberry's blue, innit, though? Like in sweets. If you think about it, like Millions. Think about raspberry flavoured Millions.
Yeah,
blue.
They are blue.
It's because it's like something to do with like the artificial colouring that they couldn't get it right. And they could only get it right if it was blue coloured. Anyway, that's for another episode. Back to frosted raspberries with pink frosting.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So those were the 4 flavours. I'm not sure... Yeah, like we said, why they went with Dutch apple.
Sounds a bit fancier, doesn't it?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. But those are the 4 flavours. But because of that decision, William Post said that they
doubled the market share with that one decision made in one day. That's how astute Kellogg is at detecting trends.
Wow.
think about that. They doubled their market share within one day.
It's not that astute to know that if you just put a shitload of sugar on something, people are going to buy it. But
No,
fair
you're
play,
right.
Kellogg's. I mean, we weren't there doing it, so...
No, exactly. It was more the fact that this guy had come up with the technology concoction of ingredients that allowed them to make that decision. I think it's impressive.
It's impressive.
Yeah. Unmeltable skidders.
Yeah.
Unmeltable. Exactly.
Indestructible skid marks.
And he wasn't wrong. The addition of frosting took Pop-Tarts to new heights of popularity. But they didn't stop there. They didn't rest on their laurels. They kept going. In 1968, they added sprinkles just because, like we said, why stop at just an inordinate amount of sugar when you could have a grotesque amount of sugar? Let's just get more in there. More sugar.
Exactly.
But again, the addition of those sprinkles helped to make them more fun, more visually appealing, more aimed at kids, more colourful. By 1973, the range had expanded to 19 flavours.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. By the 1980s, they increased the number of Pop-Tarts in a regular box from 6 to 12 because
More sugar, man.
America, why not?
Yeah. Bigger is better.
Big is better. So 60 years later, there is over 100 or has been over 100 flavours of Pop-Tarts, as well as spin-off products, including Pop-Tarts inspired cereal and Pop-Tarts, Pop-Tart Bites.
It's kind of like, did you say that nowadays there's over 100 flavours?
There has been over 100 flavours, yeah.
Has been, okay. I was going to say this earlier, but like, it's almost like you collect them. It's almost like a little game. It's like, oh my God, there's a new flavour out, a little limited edition.
Yeah.
Let's go run to the shops and grab it. It becomes like a novelty in itself, like the fact that there's so many different flavours.
No, for sure.
It's kind of part of the whole thing, isn't it?
Bit of a feature.
They do like tie-ins with like movies and shit like that as well, and special like collabs with various fucking other confectionery companies. Here's some of the more egregious sounding flavours of Pop-Tarts. You've got confetti cupcake, pretzel cinnamon sugar, chocolate peppermint.
Oh, no. Toothpaste, mate.
Not great.
Ugh.
Strawberry oatmeal.
How's that got out of the lab?
Oatmeal.
I know, innit? Yeah. Strawberry cheese Danish.
Strawberry cheese Danish. Honestly, they're just plucking random words. They've got like those wheels that you spin and they're just like
Yeah.
flavour.
Yeah, random ones. Yeah.
Are they meaning like Danish as in like the pastries? Like,
Yeah, and
like special pastry base too? Or?
I think they're meaning, like you can get like the cream cheese Danish, sweet cream cheese Danish pastries.
Bit like Cinnabon
Maybe.
sort of.
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe,
God.
mate. Maybe. I think we're trying to find logic in these flavours here. Try this one on for size. Whole grain chocolate fudge.
Oh,
What's the whole grain?
He's like bothered about my health. I want to have a healthy stool, a bit of fibre. Chocolate fudge.
Chocolate
Whole grain. What is whole grain? Chocolate fudge.
No.
That's great.
Rainbow cookie sandwich.
Not got much sugar in that, I'm sure.
No, not much sugar on there. And A&W, this is a collab. A&W root beer.
Root beer. I mean,
Don't know if you boys have ever had root beer, but it's rancid in its normal form, let alone in
I
fucking
was gonna
hot
say.
pastry.
You don't need to whip it. Like, it's like maybe if you got like a cold bottle of root beer, it's like barely passable, but warm.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
Good for drains, that's it.
Yeah, well,
good for drains.
or on top of Pop-Tarts, apparently.
And what was the chocolate? Was it chocolate peppermint? Was one of the early ones?
Chocolate peppermint, yeah.
Oh God.
Like after 8.
Yeah.
Like an after 8.
It's like when you brush your teeth. When you've had a late night chocolate.
God.
Oh, cheeky late night chocolate.
late night
We've
chocolate.
been there.
We've all been there. We've all had a little late night chocky.
And then brush your teeth straight after. Wow.
Not a sensation I'd like to recreate in a Pop-Tart though.
No. I wouldn't eat it for fun at all.
I'd like to see what it was like as well. Like, did they go for like a minty green skid on top of a chocolatey brown pastry? It's almost like the inverse of a bit of toilet paper. Wow.
It's fucking Willy Wonka's, isn't it? Just
It is.
Willy
Basically.
Wonka's messing about.
Yeah.
You're messing about.
Messing
Stop trying to have fun. Food's meant to be serious.
Yeah.
So I can tell you now that the chocolate peppermint was, in fact, had white frosting.
Okay.
Toothpaste.
From what I can see on this picture, the pastry is red.
What? What?
Last colour I was imagining you to say.
Yeah.
And the filling on the inside is white with swirls of red.
What? They just do what they want there. They're
It's
just
classic.
doing whatever the
when
hell
you think
they
of mints, you think of red and
Yeah, where?
and,
Oh,
and
they're
white.
probably doing
Might be like
doing
sweet.
a candy cane.
Yeah, might be that.
Candy cane.
That's where we're going. Yeah.
Peppermint candy cane, red and white.
I feel like that's quite an American thing, innit? We wouldn't have got that.
I was going
I
to
don't think
say,
we'd have got
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I was thinking peppermint. I'm thinking extra chewing gum.
I was thinking that.
I mean-
yeah.
We know what an actual peppermint plant looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I've never seen anything grow out the ground. Fat Americans.
So, like most of our podcast listeners are Americans. We all binning off most of our listeners here.
I love
Yeah.
all of you, even the little rolls and flabby bits. I love it all.
Crazy sounding flavours there. But as of 2024, there are over 24 standard Pop-Tart flavours, including hot fudge sundae, s'mores, raspberry, grape for some reason still. And its
Grape,
popularity,
man.
I don't know, doesn't look
Like,
be
think
dwindling.
about that. Like, imagine biting into like that frosty pastriness, and then it's grape flavour.
grape. Yeah. Done better things.
There's no rhyme or
grapes.
reason, Dom. I don't know why we're trying to justify any of this.
I apologise. Sorry.
In 2014, so yeah, popularity doesn't look to be dwindling at all. In 2014, Pop-Tarts sales had increased for 32 years straight.
That's you. Why haven't we invested in this? Literally, like, imagine if our parents had, when we were born, just been like, "Oh, I'm going to buy him a tenner's worth of Pop-Tarts." Don't know why they'd do that. Cheers, Jane and Mark, for missing this one. Shout out, love you, mum and dad. But if they'd have banged a tenner in then, think what we'd be worth now.
Yeah,
At least 100.
Yeah, at least.
at least.
100.
At least.
Go out and buy some
Yeah, but then
Pop-Tarts.
could you imagine like bringing yourself to remortgage your house and put money into Pop-Tarts? It'd be a mad one.
Yeah, it would be a mad
feel
move,
right.
wouldn't it? No, you'd
Yeah,
have to be a
yeah.
time traveller, wouldn't you? Yeah, that's the only way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely.
But it's not all frosting and sprinkles, unfortunately. This sugary icon has had its fair share of bad press.
Oh dear.
Let's start with the obvious, okay? They're not exactly a healthy food. Each Pop-Tart is packed with sugar, refined flour, and artificial ingredients. A single serving can contain up to 16 grams of sugar and a whole host of preservatives and colours. Here's a guessing game for you guys. How many calories do you think are in 2 frosted strawberry Pop-Tarts with pink frosting? How many calories do you think are in 2 of those frosted strawberry Pop-Tarts?
I'm going to say 75 calories per Pop-Tart.
I was going to say like 400 per, so 800 total.
So, Dom, you pretty much
more,
there.
actually.
So it's 400 calories in 2 Pop-Tarts, 76 grams of carbs in those 2 Pop-Tarts.
Wow.
And 4 grams.
Well, you need him to be whole grain.
Yeah, exactly.
4
yeah.
grams of protein.
4 grams of
You got-
protein. So 2 grams in each.
Yeah, you've got a whole lot of carb and basically
Nout.
fuck all else other than sugar.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 grams of fibre as well.
God.
To put that into perspective, you could eat 700 grams of 0% fat Greek yogurt, which is essentially almost 2 good-sized tubs.
Tots.
Yeah.
Wow.
For the same amount of calories, and you'd be getting 21 grams of carbs and 70 grams of protein.
Oh, God.
And you'd be so full of yogurt. Your poos
So
would still be
full.
horrible.
Yeah.
So full.
It wouldn't help your bowels.
Wouldn't help that cause at all.
But your gains would be massive
Massive. Yeah.
with all that protein. That'd be sick.
I mean, they really are the kind of the lowest denominator of processed food, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just there to fill you, not to nutritional. What's the word?
Nutrate.
Age.
Nutrate, yeah.
Nutrate you. Yeah, they're just there to fill you. They're not going to nutrate you.
But yeah, I mean, consuming these regularly, you're looking at a whole range of health issues, including obesity, diabetes, heart disease. It's not good.
So you're just saying that you'd be American if you eat these?
Oh,
Fucking hell. I love you. I love you, American listeners.
There goes the listeners.
I was good while we had you. We enjoyed you.
Yeah, it was
we really did.
great.
Look, it's tongue-in-cheek. It's the great British humour that you Americans love. Come on.
It is. But America is a nation that is struggling with these things. Like, you can't deny it.
Yeah.
They're having an epidemic, and it's these products that are adding to that,
I thought you were about to just go, yeah, but America is a nation of fatties. I was just like, Miles.
You can't deny it.
Yeah, no, you are right. It's an issue because, they've just had decades of this been, just there.
Yeah.
It's not their fault.
It's not. And nutritionists often caution against making Pop-Tarts a staple of one's diet, quite rightly, especially for children who might be more vulnerable to the effects of high sugar consumption. Howard Markle, an American doctor and medical historian, had this to say on the creation.
As a pediatrician, I still have to say, even in 1964, what were they thinking?
He goes on to explain what happens when you eat a Pop-Tart.
It raises your blood glucose to astronomical heights, which then makes your pancreas squeeze out a ton of insulin. This bottoms you out so you're hungry for another Pop-Tart, which you have, then you get fat, and you get diabetes. Wow, so you're kind of entering like a hamster wheel of shit diet, really. It's making you hungry for more, it's making you crave more sugary things, you go back to Pop-Tarts, and you're just then in this kind of never-ending bad diet world.
Yeah. It's pretty ironic, really, because like the two Kellogg brothers from Battle Creek, Michigan, initially kind of invested all of their money in providing and creating healthy foods and cereals to improve digestion.
Yeah.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions, is what they say. Cheers,
but then,
Kellogg.
They do say that.
There is the argument, though, a bit more kind of philosophical here, but we as humans want the choice. We don't want to not have the options. I think people just need a little bit more self-control. It's like, I don't think they should ban these things because, as a healthy person who just wants to try an occasional Pop-Tart, it's not going to be a massive issue. So it's like, we can't really hammer them for it too
about
hard.
education. It's education. Like those what you
like, we shouldn't just ban unhealthy things. Like if people have their own free will, and if people want to smoke a cigarette because they love it, then they should be entitled to it. But I don't know. It's a fine line because then we're pro-choice, but there is things that these companies do that kind of market them like incorrectly or push them too hard.
A little bit of regulation sprinkled in there just to make sure that it's not
I'd say so.
advertised to kids, that kind of thing,
For exactly.
Sure. It's a balance. Well, they've also, Pop-Tarts have been the focus of several lawsuits over their time. One of the most notable cases occurred in 1992 when a chap in Utah claimed that his Pop-Tart burst into flames after being left in the toaster for too long.
Wow.
Texas
Sounds
A&M.
like Milo, this.
Yeah, Texas A&M University Corpus Christi professor Patrick Michaud performed a 1994 experiment that showed when left in the toaster too long, strawberry Pop-Tarts could produce flames to about 1.5 feet, 46 centimeters high.
The shit is flammable.
This shit is flammable. And as you can imagine, this discovery sparked numerous lawsuits for Kellogg's & Co. And since then, Pop-Tarts carry the warning, due to possible risk of fire, never leave your toasting appliance or microwave unattended.
Fair enough.
Right.
Never used to have it ever since, it was ever since this lawsuit that they started to have that warning on.
Yeah.
Wow. There you have it.
There's also the more recent lawsuit from 2021, so relatively recently, where a consumer filed a case against Kellogg's for misleading packaging. The plaintiff argued that
the strawberry representations are misleading because the product has less strawberries than consumers expect based on the labeling. Wow.
We were saying that the box looks way better than the product.
Mm-hmm.
So she's saying that it looks like there's way more strawberries in it than there actually are. It's
Exactly right.
misleading.
Yeah, quite rightly, I'd say. But
Did she win?
No, as you can imagine, the lawsuit was dismissed in March 2022 when the US District Judge Marvin Aspin concluded the trial by saying,
The word strawberry combined with the picture of half of a strawberry and a Pop-Tart oozing red filling does not guarantee that there will be a certain amount of strawberries in the product's filling.
They have changed their front of the box, though. It doesn't have an actual strawberry on it anymore. Just looking here, like the old one used to have pictures of real strawberries, and now it just says, Well, it still says frosted strawberry sensation, but without the strawberry there anymore.
Yeah,
So
it's also
shit at them,
convenient
isn't it?
that the US District Judge Marvin has a brand new mansion and a Ferrari.
I was going to say,
exactly. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
The word strawberry combined with a picture of half a strawberry and a Pop-Tart oozing red filling does not guarantee there will be a certain amount of strawberries on it. I think it kind of does.
Well, yeah, like...
It's a picture of what you're going to have.
Yeah, you could have pictures of like fucking caviar on there and then never have any caviar. Not in a Pop-Tart, that would be horrible, but I'm talking about in anything in general.
God, can you imagine?
Fish eggs.
Like a sushi.
Toasted.
Spin on sushi. It's full of smoked salmon in the middle.
Oh, God. Yeah, no.
It's not good.
But yeah,
You're right.
No, I think if there's a picture there,
Yeah.
you know, there's got to be a line. You can't just be putting a picture of all sorts on what you want.
Reckon you can make prawn toast Pop-Tarts? There's one for you.
Maybe.
I think it could be done if they wanted to do a savoury line.
Sesame seeds on top.
Sesame seeds on top. Exactly right. I think Mike's on some of that, boys.
Okay.
Pop shrimp.
Pop shrimp. Why not pop prawn?
Yeah, so Pop-Tarts have been marketed. I think this is another kind of issue with Pop-Tarts, is they've been often marketed as part of a balanced breakfast, but they're not.
They've got no right. They've got no right being there, have they, really?
Right. No right. The idea of showing them and pairing them, these sugary pastries, with like milk or juice to create a bit of a complete meal has been massively challenged by health experts who argue that, quite rightly, that such combinations can lead to excessive sugar intake right at the start of the day. If you're starting your day off with a Pop-Tart and a glass of orange juice.
So then you're just crashing, aren't you? Like 11 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly. And you crash at 11 and then you get yourself some more scran, which is probably going to have way more sugar in it as well.
Yeah.
Not great. That's not great.
You know, nutritional wise, you're probably better off having a Snickers first thing, like for the nuts in it. That's probably more like nutritionally viable as a breakfast than these.
Arguably, yeah.
You know, you'd never think about having a Snickers for breakfast, would you?
I think we're going to... Yeah, you are, Milo. I think we might be getting sued by Pop-Tarts here because we've done nothing but slate them from day dot.
Yeah, I know, right? We clearly ate them.
Yeah. Well, just to throw a bit more gasoline on the fire, let's not forget about the environmental impact of Pop-Tarts, all right? Handy foil wrappers, great for keeping Pop-Tarts fresh, not exactly eco-friendly, I'm afraid. Single-use packaging contributes to waste, and with millions of Pop-Tarts sold each year, that's a significant environmental footprint that they're making there.
Can they not work out some sort of little cardboard pouch nowadays or something?
I think the foil keeps them fresh, right? It's part of the tech that allows them to not be refrigerated or,
really,
keeps them from going bad. So
surely there's some kind of seaweed off the coast of Costa Rica. You know, adds a fishy note. So yeah, as much as people love a good Pop-Tart, obviously not us, but as much as people love a good Pop-Tart, it's important, I think, to be mindful of these darker aspects. You know, they're a delightful treat, no doubt, but moderation is key.
Yeah, know your enemy.
Sure. So while Kellogg's continues to innovate and expand the Pop-Tart universe with collabs and different flavours and more skids than you can imagine, perhaps a bit more transparency and a bit of a push towards healthier options wouldn't go amiss too. I think maybe that's what they've tried to do with the whole grain, but then they've just fucking fucked it with the chocolate fudge element to it.
You fucked it again, guys. So
you were this close.
Yeah, you were close. Is it the pastry element of that then that's whole grain? So it's like a whole grain version, but then it's still got the...
You get an extra 2 grams of fibre per tart. So there you have it, folks. The sweet and the sour of Pop-Tarts. From their sugary highs to their less than healthy lows, these pastries have certainly made their mark. As we wrap up today's episode, remember to enjoy your treats responsibly.
Yeah, we don't want you to get diabetes and die.
We don't want no diabetes
in this pod.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
So stave off the diabetes for a while.
Yeah,
please.
open a packet that's got 2 in it. You have one. I've let your wife or your girlfriend have one, and don't have another one for 6 months, and then you're all right.
There you are.
It's not going to go off.
Everything in moderation. It's not going to go off. There you go.
Every 6 months you can try another one of those weird, wacky flavours that they've got.
Oh, it's Pop-Tart day. It's Pop-Tart day.
Yeah, exactly.
You have one on your birthday and one halfway to your next one.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Exactly.
Wow.
Pop-Tarts. There we go.
Pop-Tarts. History of.
Quintessentially American.
Definitely. Very, very American.
just interesting to see that you know, post World War II and the kind of technological side of it. It was like a lot of their success can be attributed to like the timing of it, with the technology being there to be able to make the product in the first place, the marketing. I feel like it was just a kind of recipe for success for that specific product.
Yeah.
But I think, well, I was saying that, I think a lot of other products kind of rode that wave of that time as well.
Benefited from war.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like commercial products.
This is like the era of like Oreos coming into the mix and like all those other like Sour Patch Kids and all that sort of stuff. Like this is like their moment to shine, isn't it? Preservatives are becoming a lot more easily usable, and machinery is becoming a lot better, so you can mass produce things. Colour television, better marketing, no regulation on the marketing as well. It's just a perfect whirlwind.
Yeah, definitely. And like each of these different, you know, if we do come back to this area of America and this era, there's going to be so many interesting characters that are all to do with these different dishes and food items.
For sure.
Because it's a well documented, you know, time in history as well, isn't it? So we've kind of got all things to kind of look back on.
Yep.
Things. There you go, Pop-Tarts. Boom. Episode 40.
Boom.
Here we are. Thank you for sticking with us. If you're enjoying the podcast, please consider rating us. Ratings really help. You can do that on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. Yeah, rating us kind of helps us show up on other people's feeds. So that's really, really helpful. You can send us a message if you want to at whatthefoodpodcast@gmail.com. You can recommend a dish or a food item if you want us to cover something. We'll give you a shout out and look at doing that. Yeah, I think that's about it. Till next time. All right, guys. Yeah. We'll love you and leave you. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the next episode. Bye guys.
Bye.
Bye. Don't forget your Pop-Tarts, man.